All right, guys, we're coming off yet another winning day of personal sports bets on my website yesterday. But before we get into some more of that, just want to take a quick time out and welcome you to the video here today for Sunday, August 7th, 2022. My name is Brock Page, and I do sports picks for free right here on YouTube. I also sell my personal sports bets on patreon.com/BrockPage. And I went 3-2 of my personal bets on that website yesterday. Now, I have packages on that website starting at just $1.99. I also have a bunch of other different memberships on that website, and one of those packages is called the board member tier. Now, not only do board members get access to the board member tier package bet itself, they also get access to every single bet, every single package, every single day, all the way up until September 1st. It's an all-inclusive membership. And in those board member tier package bets themselves, I'm 2-0 in my last 2, 7-2 in my last 9, and 11-4 in my last 15 bets in that package. Now, guys, I also have over 550 members who are signed up and active on my safe and secure website right now. And if you want to see my current sports betting record, you can do that for free right now by going to the homepage. Now, you may be wondering what the difference is between what I do here on YouTube and what I do on my website. Well, what I do here on YouTube is I'll handicap the entire slate of games in any given sport, side and total. And what I do on my website is I actually share with you which one of these free YouTube picks on my channel that I'm actually betting on personally. And with that, guys, let's go ahead and get into some free content. We're going to take a look at the Astros taking on the Guardians, 12:05 East. Houston's the $1.45 favorite, totals 8 runs. Christian Javier for Houston, Tristan McKenzie for Cleveland. And even though McKenzie's looked real good this year, the Guardians haven't played great in his starts. The righty comes into today's ballgame with a losing 7-8 record. And in these teams' last 10 head-to-head meetings, the Guardians have averaged only 3.1 runs a game against Houston, really struggling offensively. Now they're going up against Christian Javier here today on the mound, and he's got an ERA in the low 3s for the Astros. Now the righty's also been a strikeout machine. He's got 128 strikeouts in just 94-plus innings. And even if for some reason Javier has a rocky outing here today, he's backed by some Astros hitters who can certainly pound the baseball. Houston's currently in the top 5 in OPS, top 5 in homers. Yordan Alvarez has 30 home runs on the season, and that's second in the American League in that category. Now, the slugger's also second in the entire major leagues with a 1.054 OPS. Now, total-wise, Houston went 7-3 to the under in their last 10 outings. They also saw 6 out of their last 10 meetings with Cleveland fall under the line. I'm going to lean toward Houston minus 145 and the under 8. Next ball game, Nats, Phillies, 135 East. Philadelphia is the $3 favorite, totals 8.5. Aaron Nola for the Titans, Corey Abbott for Washington. Now, the Nats are on a 4-game losing streak, and they also dropped 8 out of their last 10. When it comes to the hitting in this one, there's not many teams out there who hit fewer home runs than Washington. These guys are in the bottom 3 in home runs per contest. They're also facing Aaron Nola here today, who's been really good this year. The righty's got 152 Ks along with a .94 whip. Now, the red-hot Phillies have also won 9 out of their last 10. They scored 56 total runs during that span. Kyle Schwarber leads the NL in home runs with 34 of them. Meanwhile, Alec Boehm's just a few points shy of hitting 300. He leads the club in batting average right now. When it comes to the total, Phillies averaged just about 6 runs a game in their last 10 meetings with the Nats. They're also 7-3 to the over in their last 10 outings over the past couple of weeks. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, Washington went 60% to the over in their last 10 ball games themselves. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward Philadelphia minus 1.5 and the over 8.5. Next ball game, Pirates, O's, 135 East. Baltimore's minus 175, totals 9. Spencer Watkins for Baltimore, Bryce Wilson for Pittsburgh. Now, Bryce has been pretty bad this season. He's just 1-6 on the year with an ERA in the sixes. And aside from losing 7 out of their last 10, well, the Pirates have had a real problem getting on base this year. They're actually second to last in the league right now in team batting average. They also strike out more times a game than any other franchise in the National League. They're taking on Spencer Watkins on the other side of things, who's actually been pretty solid for the Orioles this season. He's the type of guy that's going to give you a chance to win. He's actually lost just 1 game this year, and he has an ERA in the 3s. Now, the Red Hot O's are also in a 5-game winning streak, and they got the W in 7 out of their last 9. Now, Anthony Santander, he's the club leader in homers and runs batted in. When it comes to the total in this one, Baltimore's gone 12-4 to the under against the National League. Meanwhile, Pittsburgh's 4-3 to the under in their last 7 interleague road games. I'm going to lean toward Baltimore minus 175 in the under 9. Next ball game I have for you, it is going to be Rays taking on the Tigers. That's going to be a 1:40 Eastern start time. Now, Tampa Bay is the $1.75 favorite on the road. Totals 8 runs. Drew Rasmussen for Tampa Bay. Matt Manning for Detroit. Now, Manning has just 13 innings of work under his belt this year, and he's accumulated only 5 strikeouts during that short span. Now, the Tigers have also been awful at the dish this season. I pretty much say it in every video. There was a point in time there where I was saying they can't hit for shit, but the Tigers have been terrible in the box. They're actually dead last in the entire majors right now in scoring, dead last in OPS. Now, they're facing Drew Rasmussen here today, who's 6-4 with an ERA nearly in the 2s. And in these teams' last 10 head-to-head meetings, the Rays have actually held Detroit to less than 3.2 runs per contest. Now, total-wise, 6 out of Tampa Bay's last 10 outings fell under the number. They also went 7-3 to the under in their last 10 meetings with Detroit. So if you're into historical trends, certainly want to think about that one there. Meanwhile, the Tigers, on the other side of things, they went 9-1 to the under in their last 10 themselves. I'm going to lean toward Tampa Bay, minus 175, and the under 8. Next ball game, Blue Jays Twins, 2:10 p.m. East. Toronto's minus 165, totals 8.5. Kevin Gausman for Toronto, Chris Archer for Minnesota. Now, the Archman's had a tough time getting the W here. He's got just 2 wins on the year with an ERA in the 4s. And out of these teams' last 10 meetings with each other, the Twins have allowed nearly 5.5 runs a game to the Jays. And speaking of Toronto, well, they've got one of the best hitting lineups in all of baseball right now. They're actually leading the league currently in team batting average. And, of course, Lourdes Gurriel, he's batting a team best .311 at the plate. It was actually Alejandro Kirk who led the club the entire season of batting average, but now, more recently, Gurriel, he's been really hot. Once again, he's hitting .311 at the plate. That's a team best. Meanwhile, Vlad Guerrero Jr., he's leading the club in home runs and RBI. When it comes to total, 6 out of Toronto's last 10 contests against Minnesota got over the posted total. Meanwhile, the Twins went 7-3 to the over in their last 10 themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Blue Jays minus 165 and the over 8.5. Next ball game, Reds Brewers, 2:10 p.m. East. Milwaukee's minus 280, total 7.5. Corbin Burns for Milwaukee. Graham Ashcraft for Cincinnati. And even though Graham's got a pretty good record, his ERA is in the 4s, and he also has a 1.33 whip. Meanwhile, as a team, the Reds really don't play great on the road. They're just 19-31 while traveling, and they're also amongst the worst in the National League in road scoring. Now they're taking on Corbin Burns, who has 166 strikeouts and a .95 whip. Meanwhile, these Brewers hitters have really, These Brewers hitters have really had Cincinnati's number. They're averaging almost 8 runs a game in their last 10 meetings with the Reds. Rowdy Tellez has a team-best 22 home runs and 70 RBI. Meanwhile, Christian Yelich is leading the franchise in batting average Now, when it comes to the total, 3 out of Milwaukee's last 4 home games got over the line. They also went 7-3 to the over in their last 10 at any location. Meanwhile, Cincinnati went 11-6 to the over in their divisional road games. I'm going to lean toward Milwaukee -1.5 in the over 7.5. Next ball game, it is going to be Red Sox Royals 210 East. Boston's -135, totals 9.5. Cutter Crawford for the Bo Sox, Brad Keller for Kansas City. Now, Keller's just 5-12 in the year with an ERA in the high 4s. Keller's also walked over 40 batters this season. And even if Kells can keep it together here today, he's backed by a pretty bad Kansas City lineup of hitters. These guys are in the bottom 5 in homers, and they're averaging only 3.9 runs a game for the entire year. Now, they also have to face Cutter Crawford here today, who's got an ERA in the 3s, and he also averages over a strikeout an inning. The Bo Sox also do a nice job getting on base. They're currently in the top 10 in team batting average, and they're led by Rafael Devers, who's actually hitting .315 at the plate. Meanwhile, teammate Xander Bogaerts, he's right behind him with a .312 batting average as well. When it comes to the scoring, Boston has averaged over 6 runs a game in their last 10 meetings with their opponents here today, Kansas City. Meanwhile, the Royals on the other side, they went 60% to the over in their last 10 themselves. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward Boston -135 and the over 9.5. Next matchup, it is going to be Yankees taking on the Cardinals, and that's going to be a 2:15 Eastern start time. The New York Yankees are the $1.35 favorite on the road, totals 8 runs. Frankie Montas for New York, Adam Wainwright for St. Louis. Now, Wains has 103 strikeouts and an ERA in the low 3s. The Red Hot Cardinals have also won their last 6 straight, and they're in the top 10 in the majors in team batting average. Paul Goldschmidt's hitting .333 with 26 home runs and 82 RBI. He's actually leading the league right now in that batting average category. Now, Goldie's also 3rd in the bigs right now with a 1.032 OPS. Now, St. Louis is taking on a struggling Yankees team who lost their last 4 straight, and they average just 3 runs a game in those losses. And most alarming, the Yankees have only won 5 out of 12 ball games against National League opponents this year, so they haven't been great in interleague play. Certainly concerning if you're thinking these guys are a World Series contender, because they are struggling against the National League. Now, Frankie Montas, he comes into today's ball game with a 4-9 record, although all of that was accumulated in Oakland, but you still want to think about that. Only has 4 wins on the year, 4-9 record. Really couldn't help out the A's much, as bad as they've been. Now, total-wise, 4 out of New York's last 6 interleague road games did fall under the number. Meanwhile, St. Louis went 7-3 to the under in their last 10. So I'm going to lean toward the Cardinals +1.5, keeping this one close, and the under 8 runs. Next ball game, Marlins Cubs, 2:20 p.m. East. The Chicago Cubs are -1.25, totals 9. Adrian Sampson for Chicago, Jesus Luzardo for Miami. Now, Luzardo has shown some pretty good stuff in a short time frame. Now, despite his record, the lefty's fanned 46 batters in just 34 innings. He also has an ERA in the 3s and a 1.09 whip. Now, the Marlins have also had some pretty good success offensively in recent meetings with the Cubbies. They're averaging nearly 5.5 runs a game in their last 10 outings against Chicago. Garrett Cooper's leading the club currently in batting average. Now, they're taking on a Cubbies team who's winning only 40% of their ball games at Wrigley this year. Chicago's also had a tough time with strikeouts at the plate. They're fanning more times a game at the dish than most clubs in the National League. Now, starting pitcher Adrian Sampson, he's going to take the mound for Chicago here today, and he's actually still in search of his first win in 2022. Out of 43-plus innings this year, Sampson's yet to win a ball game. When it comes to the number, the Cubs went 8-2 to the under in their last 10. Meanwhile, Miami went 70% to the under in their last 10 themselves. I'm going to lean toward Miami +1.5 and the under 9. Next ball game I have for you, it is going to be White Sox taking on the Rangers. 2:35 Eastern first pitch. Chicago's minus 155, totals 8.5. Lucas Giolito for Chicago, Spencer Howard for Texas. Now, Spence has had a real rough year for the Rangers. He's got an ERA close to 7, along with a 1.63 whip. And even if he pitches well, the Rangers still lost 5 out of their last 8. And they have a real tough time getting on base. These guys currently find themselves in the bottom 10 in team batting average. Now, they're also squaring off against Lucas Giolito here today for Chicago, who struck out 115 batters in just 101-plus innings. Now, the White Sox have also won 5 out of their last 8. And in addition to that, they also do a real nice job making contact with the baseball. They're currently in the top 5 in fewest strikeouts at the dish. They're also in the top 5 in team batting average, as they're led by Tim Anderson, who's hitting .301. Now, when it comes to the numbers, Chicago's last 4 straight road games all fell under the total. They're also 8-2 to the under in their last 10 at any location. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward the White Sox, minus 155, and the under 8.5. Next matchup I have for you, it is going to be Giants taking on the Athletics. That's going to be a 4:07 Eastern start time. San Francisco's minus 210, totals 8 runs. Logan Webb for the Giants, Adrian Martinez for Oakland. And in addition to having just under 20 innings of work under his belt, Martinez has also given up a bunch of earned runs during that short span. He's currently got a 6.52 ERA right now and a 1.50 whip. Meanwhile, offensively, the A's continue to struggle getting base runners. They're dead last in team batting average, and they're also scoring under 3.6 runs a game. Now, they're facing Logan Webb, who's 9-5 on the year with an ERA in the low 3s. Webb's also got 110 strikeouts and a 1.16 whip. And even if Webb finds trouble, this Giants lineup does have the ability to score runs. They're in the top 10 in homers, top 10 in runs per contest. Wilmer Flores is actually leading the franchise right now in runs batted in. When it comes to the scoring, San Fran went 60% to the under in their last 10 ball games. They're also 9-5 to the under against American League opponents. I'm going to lean towards San Francisco minus 1.5 and the under 8 runs in that tight window. Next ball game, Braves-Mets, 4:10 p.m. East. Now, the Mets are the $1.45 favorite in Flushing, Queens. Total 7 runs. Jacob deGrom for New York, Spencer Strider for Atlanta. And even though Strider's been real good this year, the Braves have struggled a bit here this week. They lost 4 out of their last 5 ball games, with 3 of those losses coming to the Mets. The Braves have also struggled getting on base on the road this season. These guys are actually in the bottom 10 in road hits. Now, they're squaring off against Jacob deGrom on the other side here today for New York. And he did look solid in his season debut. deGrom struck out 6 batters in 5 innings of work, and he officially has an ERA of 1.80 during that short stretch. Meanwhile, as a team, well, the Mets have won 8 out of their last 10, and they're currently in the top 5 in runs per game. Pete Alonso has a league-leading 93 runs batted in. He's actually tied with Aaron Judge in that category. Meanwhile, Jeff McNeil's hitting a team-best 304 at the plate. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward the New York Mets, minus 145, and the under 7. Next ball game I have for you, a little NL West action. It's going to be the Rockies squaring off against the Diamondbacks. That's going to be a 4:10 Eastern first pitch in the desert. Arizona's minus 155 at home, totals 9 runs. Zach Davies for Arizona. Jose Urena for Colorado. Now, Urena's got an ERA of 5 even, along with a 1.63 whip. The Rockies have also dropped 7 out of their last 10. And they have a tough time getting on base on the road. They're in the bottom 10 in road hits, bottom 3 in road walks. They're also facing Zach Davies, who comes into today's contest with a 1.22 whip. And even if Davies finds trouble, the D-backs have had little issue putting up runs against Colorado. They're averaging nearly 5.5 runs a game in their last 10 meetings with the Rockies. Now, Christian Walker, he currently has a team best 25 home runs and 59 RBI. Now, he's actually in the top 10 in the majors right now in that home run category. Meanwhile, teammate Ketel Marte, he has the highest qualifying batting average on the team right now. When it comes to the total, 3 out of Arizona's last 4 home games got over the number. They also went 60% to the over in their last 10 meetings with Colorado. So once again, if you're into historical trends, plenty of overs to go around. Meanwhile, the Rockies saw 4 out of their last 5 away from home get over the total themselves. I'm going to lean toward Arizona minus 155 and the over 9. All right. Next contest, it is going to be Angels-Mariners, 4:10 Eastern first pitch. Seattle's minus 160, totals 8 runs. Marco Gonzalez for Seattle, Tucker Davidson for Los Angeles. Now, Tucker's been god-awful in 15-plus innings, but the Angels have cashed in on the run line in their last 3 straight on the road. They actually scored a dozen runs in those 3 covers. Shohei Ohtani has a team-best 65 runs batted in. Meanwhile, Taylor Ward, he leads the club in batting average right now. Now, these guys are taking on Marco Gonzalez on the other side of things, who's actually been, lackluster to say the least. He's just 6-11 on the year with a 1.39 whip. The Mariners have also been pretty bad cashing in on the run line at home. Out of their 30 divisional home games, they covered the 1.5 only 10 times. When it comes to hitting the baseball, well, the Mariners actually have one of the lower team batting averages in the American League. Now, total-wise, 8 out of these teams' last 10 meetings did fall under the number. Seattle's also 63% to the under in their divisional home games. Meanwhile, the Angels, on the other side of things, they went 60% to the under in their last 10. I'm going to lean toward the Angels plus 1.5 and the under 8. And with that, guys, we're going to jump into our next and final matchup for the video. It is going to be Padres taking on the Dodgers, 7:08 Eastern first pitch. The LA Dodgers are minus 130, totals 8.5. Tyler Anderson for the Dodgers, Yu Darvish for San Diego. And even though the Pods have Darby on the mound here today, they've lost their last 3 straight, and they scored only 7 total runs during that span. Now, when it comes to hitting for power, hitting that long ball, well, the Pods actually don't do much of that either. These guys are in the bottom 10 in the majors in home runs. They're taking on Tyler Anderson here today, who's been near perfect this year. The lefty's 12-1 with an ERA in the 2s. And no real surprise here, guys. Anderson also has a solid 1.03 whip. Now, the Dodgers are currently on a 7-game winning streak. And they actually scored 48 total runs in those victories. They're currently leading the entire league right now in runs per game and OPS. Now, Freddie Freeman, he has the highest batting average on the team at 322. Meanwhile, Mookie Betts is the club leader in homers. And when it comes to the scoring, LA went 60% to the over in their last 10 outings. Meanwhile, San Diego, on the other side, they went 7-3 to the over in their last 10 themselves. I'm going to lean toward the LA Dodgers minus 130 and the over 8.5. And with that, guys, now it's time for our quick pick recap. Powered to you by my website at patreon.com/BrockPage, where we're hitting at 73% in our last 15 board member tier package bets. I like Houston minus 145, under 8 runs. Give me Philadelphia minus 1.5, over 8.5. I like Baltimore minus 175, under 9. Give me Tampa Bay minus 175, under 8. I like Toronto minus 165, over 8.5. Give me Milwaukee minus 1.5, over 7.5. I like Boston minus 135, over 9.5. Give me St. Louis plus 1.5, under 8. I like Miami plus 1.5, under 9. Give me the White Sox minus 155, under 8.5. I like San Francisco minus 1.5 under 8 runs. Give me the Mets minus 145 under 7. I like Arizona minus 155 over 9. Give me the Angels plus 1.5 under 8 runs. Before I give you my next and final free pick for the video, one final reminder that you can also sign up for my $1.99 daily best play on my website for just $1.99. I'm going to lean toward the Dodgers minus 130 and the over 8.5 runs. And with that, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on my website. Now, if you guys do end up getting a membership here today on patreon.com/BrockPage, just keep in mind you're going to get billed the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. I always tell folks in every single video, the earlier in the month you sign up, the better. And once again, guys, if you want to get access to every single bet, every single package, every single day, you're going to want to sign up for my board member package. It's an all-inclusive membership. But most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. With that said, guys, happy Sunday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.